Automotive Design and Development Council has begun training technicians and youths in Ondo State and across the country on automotive mechatronics to repair and maintain new generation vehicles. It was gathered that the training was in collaboration with state governments. And speaking on this development and specialized mechatronics and heavy-duty vehicle training for technicians and youths in the southwestern region is the Director General, Mr. Oluwemimo Osonipin, who said the training would enable auto technicians in the country to service and maintain modern-day vehicles. According to him, the training was imperative to the automobile industry as it will help equip technicians with the knowledge to handle challenges posed by modern heavy-duty vehicles, which are more electronic than mechanical. Also, late last year, as part of efforts aimed at stimulating the Nigerian economy and support local industries, the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation and the National Automotive Design and Development Council unveiled a 20 billion naira consumer credit fund. The initiative is designed to enable Nigerians to purchase locally assembled vehicles through accessible credit schemes. All right, to our Abuja studio where Mr. Oluwemimo Joseph Osonipin is standing by to discuss with me, Director General NADDC. Thank you so much. It's good to have you on the program this afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, Tolu.
Yes, I think it's good to start with an update on this training and tell us really what do you intend to achieve. Mechatronics training across the country. Tell us more about this and what you intend to achieve with this.
Okay, you will agree with me there has been a lot of new technology development, a lot of development in auto sector in the last couple of months, let me even say years. And you also agree with me that as a policy, Nigeria is pushing for adoption of CNG-powered vehicle. So also globally, there is this push for electric vehicle, and Nigeria also can have vehicles that have more of electrical, vehicles that have more of electrical and more of electronics. So the technology is changing and we need to change with the technology. So we need them to acquire this knowledge so that they will be competent enough and then be useful in the market. So that's why we put together the mechatronic training in 3 states as well as heavy duty training in another 3 states. So it covers the 6 geopolitical zones. The trainings are going on simultaneously in those 6 states across the country. As you were responding to the first question, network hitches, here and there, where we lost some part of your submission. So I'd like you to take us back to the point where you said looking at new technologies and what Nigeria is doing to meet up with these new technologies technically. Okay, I mentioned the CNG, for example.
Okay.
I mentioned EV, and I mentioned even apart from some vehicles that are powered by PMS have new technologies. So those technologies are what we want our people to be abreast with. For example, maybe some people, when they train, they use carburetor, and then what is being used now is different. And so you have to look at all those things. And then those days, when you want to service a vehicle, you start trial by error to know what the fault is. But now you can use diagnostic device to know where the faults are and then be able to address them appropriately without resorting to trial and error. And these are the reasons why we decided to up the scale of our technicians across the country, because those gaps exist, even apart from the one that come with CNG or EV. The existing vehicle currently, a lot of this vehicle has more to do with electrical and electronic than mechanical, and this is where the problem lies. Most of our technicians don't have this technical knowledge when it comes to electrical and electronic aspect. Though they have the knowledge, but the technology keep on changing. Yes. So we need to make sure that we are up to date with the same engine technology. So that's why those that have the knowledge of 3 years ago, those 3 years ago knowledge may not be able to solve the problem or the challenge of today and the challenge of tomorrow, future challenges. So we need to train them and keep them abreast of the new things, the new technologies, and as they are evolving, we keep them updated of those technologies. That's why we have to organize the training for our technicians nationwide.
Okay, good. So how receptive are our technicians, and how cooperative has the state government also been? And what do you think? Do you think they are learning as much as you would expect?
Yes, the most important thing is the interest. We've seen the technicians; they are interested because the way we brought them together. We reach out to their associations in those states. We reach out to NATA, this is the Auto Technician Associations in Nigeria, and the peak representative across the states where this training are being held, and they come together because they realize they need this knowledge. So the fact that they have that understanding and they know that this gap exists, they need that knowledge. So they are all interested, and because they have that interest, they have that passion to learn it. So they are receptive to what they are being taught, and they are very, very happy. The state governments also are very, very happy, and they are collaborating with us for this. For example, we have states where they already have test centers where vehicles have to pass through roadworthiness tests before they issue the roadworthiness certificates. So after they've done these tests, they've seen that a lot of vehicles are failing the test. So why are they failing? Because some of the little things that they're supposed to take note, they are not taking note of them. And that's part of the reason why we are doing this test, why we are doing this training. By the time they fail the test, they need to refer them, they need to go back to workshop and work on those defects or those faults they've seen or detected while doing their test. So these are the referral back to mechanic are part of the reason why states are ready and they are embracing it, because it's of no use if you do the test and you have found a fault and you can't refer them to competent technicians who will work on them. So with this training that we are doing, we go around the country, we make sure that we conduct such across the whole state of the Federation before the year ends, so that we'll be able to train a lot of Nigerians across a lot of technicians across the country, because there's need for us to ensure that the vehicles we have on the road are roadworthy. And then the user, those people that patronize technicians, they get value for their money.
Interesting stuff. I think I agree with you with regards to that. You see tech-driven vehicles all around now, so we must be prepared before so that we're not caught unawares. But let's move on with other things that are happening. CNG penetration. I spoke to Mr. Michael Oluwagbemi earlier in the year, and he's saying that more and more effort is being done with regards to that too. How is NADDC coming in to this, and where are we? Any updates? I know that recently you also had a meeting with the Standards Organization of Nigeria. What is happening with the intra-agency participation or collaboration?
Okay, yes, let me start with interagency. Interagency collaboration are very crucial. So we've been collaborating with Standard Organization and other agencies that have role to play in adoption of CNG. So a lot of agencies have role to play. We are collaborating with them. And for the adoption rates, just as you mentioned that Engineer Michael said earlier in the year that a lot of infrastructure are being put in place, because what we have noticed is the lack of infrastructure. And we have said it before now that government is just to stimulate it and then just serve as catalyst. Investor will come and then invest more in all those infrastructure. Governments are not going to maintain those are not going to start running or operate those infrastructure. It's just like a gas station. Government is not going to start running a gas station, but government has supported a lot of private entities so that they can invest more. And we are encouraging them also by organizing training for some workshop. We organize training in some states on how to convert from PMS power vehicle to CNG power vehicle. So that's what we are doing, organized training. And in this training we are doing also, we are training the technicians on how to maintain those already converted vehicles, so that by the time those vehicles are running on, in most of they are already running, so that by the time they see this vehicle, they bring them for servicing, they will know what to do concerning maintenance of those vehicles. So as we said, as infrastructure is growing, as they are deploying more infrastructure for to facilitate the adoption of CNG, more and more people will be adopting and changing to CNG, because it's no brainer. Just I've said earlier or before this today that the percentage, the cost you are going to save, the percentage of the cost you are going to save when your vehicle is powered by CNG is enough incentive for everyone to convert to CNG. So we believe with more deployment of infrastructure within the next 1 or 2 years, we are going to meet the target set, which is 1 million vehicle converted within a short period, and we are going to meet that and probably exceed it.
I've also I read about this, your partnership with Credit Corps, 20 billion naira to fund locally assembled vehicles. Talk to us about this, and also what we are doing about local manufacturing of spare parts, which is something I know that you've stood in for. You've spoken on this for times without number. What is happening with also regards to that? Are we doing better than we used to do?
Okay, let me start with the Credit Corp, the partnership with Credit Corp. The Credit Corp, you know, consumer credit is always a very, what I would call the catalyst for growing any economy, because it serves as stimulus. You are now supporting the demand side of the economy. So now we need to stimulate the demand side of the economy. That's what the Credit Corp is going to do. But we've agreed with them. Yes, every penny that is going to be dedicated to auto will only be assessed is going to be assessed to be used or to be used. We are going to use it to purchase local assembled vehicle. So we are doing that in order to promote local assemblers as well as local assembled products or local assembled vehicles. So we are working with them. We have the modality in place. As I'm talking to you now, they are meeting in Lagos, and their meetings, we are starting with the tricycles. They are meeting the tricycles today and tomorrow to finalize how the deployment will be made. They've met the manufacturer, so Credit Corp managements are meeting the dealers on how to work out the modality between the dealers, the buyer, and the banks that the fund will pass through, because the deployments of the fund or the release of the fund is going to pass through some commercial banks, then because it's those commercial banks that are going to follow up on recoveries of the loan. So they are working all those one out now, and I'm sure in the next few weeks that one will be finalized, and then because Nigeria will be able to access the fund, because as I'm talking to you also, a lot of Nigerians have applied. I know that a lot have applied to Credit Corp. So Credit Corp are working. It's basically Credit Corp that will supervise the deployment and how they are going to come up with their RAC, that is risk asset criteria, and those that meet those criteria are those ones that will be the loan will be able to access the loan. And as I said earlier, we are putting our own, and that what we are putting that those vehicles, those tricycles, those motorcycles that are going to be financed through Credit Corp must be those ones that are manufactured in Nigeria. And coming to component part development, yes, we've done our analysis. We are working with them to grow the number of the volume we have now. We are coming up with the policy that will now support those who are manufacturing in Nigeria. We are working with some of them in terms of finance. We cannot give them the finance, but we are taking them to the right development bank that will be able to provide the necessary finance for them to scale up. So we are already working on that. We are doing all those ones behind the scene so that by the time the demand increase for local manufacturer parts, then they will be able to meet those demands. So we are working on them. They are producing, and we just want them to scale up what they are doing currently.
So what's the outlook now, looking at all of this? What should we be expecting more from the NADDC? You're wrapping up the trainings very soon. A lot of expectations with regards to vehicle assembled in the country. Of course, everyone is expecting this to happen, and we reduce this dependence on importing vehicles. What's the outlook? Do we have projections, maybe numbers like we're looking like, okay, in another 6 months, in another 1 year, we should be able to do this and that as we move on?
Okay, the first thing is this year, we want to work with the assembler to move some assembler from SKD to CKD. We are working with them so that, and some of them are already bringing in more equipment in order to be able to expand their operation and be able to meet their requirement for CKD, because there are a lot of requirements. There are things you need to do to meet the CKD requirement, especially as you have to do with chassis, painting, and then using of local components. So that's why we are pushing local components first, so that by the time they move to CKD, they will be able to access those components locally. So the development of local components is the first step. The second step is moving the SKD assemblers to CKD, which we are embarking on this year. And then this year, we are working with a lot of Nigeria on designing some products that will be more of a Nigeria week, that we will look at and say, this is a typically Nigerian product. Why do I say that? Those ones that will be able to have more local components, because as we are developing those local components, that's why I said that was the development of local components our first phase. As we are developing it, we use those components now to now design our own vehicle, design our own tricycle, design our own motorcycle that is going to use greater percentage of this component. That's the stage we are moving to. CKD, from SKD to CKD, and then start designing our own and then producing our own made Nigerian with greater percentage of local components. That's what we are pushing for, and that's what we are looking out for this year.
Mr. Sonny, before I let you go, as smooth as it looks, there will be some 1 or 2 challenges. How are those challenges? How are you trying to manage them? How are you addressing some of those challenges?
The challenges, please, can you come again?
Yes, I'm talking about the challenges and how you are trying to manage them across the sector.
Okay, yeah. Yes, you can't do without challenges. It's part of the business. It's part of life. So we have infrastructural challenges. We have power challenges. We have challenges in time of infrastructure, capacity, that is skilled labor, and many other things. And that's why we are taking them one after the other. For skilled labor, we are doing training. For skilled labor, we have done curriculum. We have designed curriculum for CNG and EV. We are going to go further by engaging more of the higher institutions, university, polytechnic, technical institutions in working or developing manual that will be used for training, not only the technician, but even used in university and technical schools as well as polytechnics. So that's part of what we are working on, part of what we are doing to confront those challenges, especially as had to do with skilled labor. And then the other ones, we for power, we've been saying it, the way we are already confronting them. I mentioned the other time we were discussing that CNG, adoption of CNG in Nigeria is not only for vehicle. CNG, we can also use CNG for power. Some of our facilities, that I mean the assembler, are already using CNG to power their facility. 24 hours. That is, power it from, they don't even use any other form of energy. They use CNG to power it. So if we talk about power as a challenge, then we also have a way of addressing that. And when we brought the experts, our partners from other countries, Volkswagen, Nissan, all of them, when they came here, they saw it and they realized that some of these facilities were being powered by CNG, which they love, and then they know that it's going to be another investment, but it's investment that we actually worth it. So this is a challenge. And then part of the challenges we are having is the availability of fund. Cost of fund in Nigeria is very high, and that's why we are partnering a credit card to confront that one. So again, for the supply side, we are already working with Bank of Industry and some other institutional or development banks to access fund for our, that is, support our assemblers to access fund from these institutions. So the challenges will always be there, but we are working on confronting them one after the other.
Great stuff. A lot of work there. Mr. Oluwemimo Joseph Osonipin is the Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council. Thank you so much for your time on the program. I hope to see you again soon.